It happened on a quiet Friday night. I had just moved into my new apartment. It was a small, cosy place in the city. Everything was perfect, or so I thought. That night I fell asleep early, completely exhausted from unpacking. Around 2 a.m, I woke up to the sound of my closet door creaking. My heart stopped. I was certain I had closed it before bed. At first I thought it was just my imagination, but then I heard it again. This time the creak was followed by the softest shuffle, like someone was stepping on the carpet. I froze, my mind raced. Was someone inside my apartment? I reached for my phone, but I had left it in the kitchen. Gathering my courage, I whispered, "Who's there?" Silence. The air felt thick, oppressive. Slowly I got up, grabbed a flashlight and pointed it toward the closet. My breath caught in my throat. The closet door was wide open now, but there was no one inside. Or so I thought. As I turned away, the door creaked again, this time closing by itself. I didn't sleep that night. A few days later, I found out that the previous tenant had disappeared under mysterious circumstances, and the only thing left behind was a single shoe inside the closet. This next story still haunts me to this day. I was driving back home late at night, around 3 a.m, on an empty stretch of highway. The only company I had was the faint sound of the radio and the rhythmic hum of my car engine. Out of nowhere, I saw a figure standing on the side of the road, thumb out, signaling for a ride. Something about them seemed off. They were wearing a long coat, and their face was obscured by a hood. Against my better judgment, I stopped. The person got in without saying a word. "Where to?" I asked, my voice trembling slightly. They just pointed straight ahead. The silence was suffocating. Then, as I glanced at the rearview mirror, I noticed something. Their reflection wasn't there. My heart pounded as I realized I could see the empty back seat in the mirror. But when I turned my head, they were still sitting there, motionless. Panic set in. I tried to pull over, but the car wouldn't stop. The brakes didn't work. The figure finally spoke in a low, gravelly voice. "Keep driving." I don't know how long I drove, but eventually I found myself parked outside my own home with no memory of how I got there. The passenger was gone, but on the seat where they had been sitting, there was a deep, black handprint burned into the fabric. My final story takes place during my college years. I shared a dorm room with a guy named Derek. We weren't close, but he seemed like a normal, friendly guy. One night I came back to the dorm after a late studies session. Derek wasn't there, but his side of the room was spotless, his bed made, his books gone, and his closet empty. It was like he had never been there at all. I figured he had moved out without telling me, but then I noticed something strange. There was a sticky note on his desk. It read, "Don't look under the bed." My heart sank. I felt a mix of curiosity and dread. Against my better judgment, I crouched down and lifted the bed skirt. What I saw will haunt me forever. It was Derek, lying there with his eyes wide open, frozen in fear. His face was pale and his lips were blue. But the worst part? His hands were clutching another sticky note. It read, "He's still in the room." I ran out of there as fast as I could. The next day, the police searched the dorm, but found no trace of anyone else. Derek's death was ruled a heart attack, but I know what I saw. Something or someone was in that room with us that night. These stories aren't just tales to spook you, they happened. So the next time you're alone, remember not everything can be explained. And sometimes it's better that way. Sweet dreams.